Welcome in the third and final hour of your Rude Awakening on this Tuesday morning, the 9th day of June 2015. We are so glad you're in with us. It's the 160th. Settle, please. Settle, everyone. Settle. Settle. Are we good? We good? All right. Making noise over there. I'm trying to work here. Yeah, it's live.
Yeah, it works.
It's
works.
hot.
It works.
Today, the 160th day of 2015. Only 205 days left remaining in this year, if you're playing along at home.
Producer's nightmare.
There you go. Hey, we have the Gaggelin with us this morning. We have the whole group of some of the most important people in Knox County you're going to find at any given time. They are all here right now with us. Of course, we have the one, the only, big, sexy Michael Grider. Good morning, Mr. Grider.
Good morning.
We have the Director of Finance, Chris Caldwell. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And, of course, the one, the only, the man with the plan and an amazing head of hair. It is Knox County Mayor Tim Burchett. Good morning, Mayor Burchett.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So anything new happening? You just kind of hanging out? Nothing?
Just hanging out. Just sort of like, thought I'd like to comment on ISIS and
Did you? You've entered into a MOU, or as we like to call it, the French cow noise. Meh.
I thought it was meow.
Meh. But you've entered into a MOU with Knox School Superintendent Dr. Jim McIntyre. You made the announcement yesterday for the folks that may have missed it. Highlights. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, we're going to build both the Gibbs and the Hardin Valley Middle Schools. Knox County Purchasing will do or oversee the construction of both the schools. That's Hugh Holt Incorporated.
So it's going to be much cheaper than
That's what we hope. Also, we are going to try to use some modern, cost-effective options on the construction. Approximately a 2% teacher pay raise, and we'll give $3 million out of the general fund for the Apex bonuses. Agreed to some additional measures designed to increase fiscal responsibility and accountability, and both finance departments will work together to provide quarterly reports to the mayor, which would be me, superintendent, and the commission finance committees on ways to reduce expenditures, and everybody seems to be focusing on it. It's a small portion of it that will be developing a plan to sell the Andrew Johnson building and move the school's administration operations to another facility. It's going to get the AJ building back on the tax rolls, and it benefits both the county and the schools.
Okay. We were talking about that earlier. We suggest Rural High School for a new spot, or just a collection of trailers, because if it's good enough for the students and the teachers, it's good enough for anybody, right?
Well, that's true. I would say, though, that it still has to be approved by the Board of Education and Commission. It's not, nothing's final yet. And I'd encourage people to call their commissioners and board members. It's not, I told the folks last night, some folks from Gibbs and Hardin Valley were, everybody was celebrating, but
sure,
it's time to celebrate, but it's also time to get on the phones and call them and stick with the plan.
Sure. Well, I know a lot of supporters showed up last night at the county commission meeting as they met last night, and that's basically where it is now. It's in the hands of county commission and the Board of Education, correct?
That's correct. If we don't have a majority in either one of those bodies, we're back to the drawing board. We'll just go back to where we were.
Okay. Now, both bodies have to approve this, correct?
That's correct.
So both bodies have to approve this. Now, let's say a timeline, if they both approve it, what is a possible timeline for starting construction on these new schools?
Well, I mean, you start immediately. You start with meeting with engineers and things like that. And, of course, there's a bid process that we'll have to go through. So, I'd say within a year, you could see possibly some dirt turning.
So basically, best case scenario, schools could be open and ready to use, 2017?
2019.
2019, yeah.
Okay.
I'll be heading up the Tim Burchett lawn mowing division by then.
Gotcha. Okay, well, maybe you can go mow the grass at the new school.
I'll be one of those deals where I'm sort of standing in the back and oh yeah, and there's Mayor Burchett. We did all the lifting here, and they might not even recognize me. Former Mayor Burchett, or as they say at Ball Market number 3 on Western Avenue, Mayor Burchess.
Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate your work.
Hey, I need to say a shout out to
Yes.
somebody that always tells me, Mr. Chandler over there at Chandler's Deli out
Chandler
there
Deli?
on Magnolia. It's really not real. It's called a deli, but
Yeah.
I always eat the ribs and the sweet potatoes and the greens.
I was by there yesterday. Actually, I drove by Chandler's Deli. So it's a wonderful place.
It's great. Thanks for interrupting me.
Oh, I'm
there,
sorry.
man. That's-
Go right ahead.
You didn't stop?
You didn't stop?
I did. I was actually on my way to Pizza
just
Palace.
waved-
I was on my way to
waved-
Pizza
you
Palace.
just
I'm sorry.
waved
I was
as you
heading
go
to
by.
Pizza Palace. I will go to Chandler's Deli sometime this week. Well, yeah, no, it's. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Hi to Mr. Chandler.
That's okay, man.
We're excited.
I'm
We're
not
excited
mad.
here.
I'm not mad.
Why are you mad, Burgess? We're very, very excited, though, that of hearing this announcement yesterday, and kind of the way we took it, and we were discussing it earlier today. It seems like we hear, okay, well, here you go. We're going to go ahead and give you a leg up. Now take care of it all. And is that basically kind of a layman's way to look at it? It's fairly correct.
I'd say that's fairly correct. Yeah, if everybody follows through with everything, because this is just an agreement between myself and McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be approved. Commission Chairman Brad Anders and School Board Chairman Mike McMillan they have to both approve of it.
Yeah.
And if they do, and they have to sign. They actually sign a piece of paper that says memorandum of understanding.
Yeah. You actually made a comment yesterday that I thought was quite insightful, and you said
We had tacos.
yes. It was actually it wasn't quite as insightful as we had tacos, almost. But no, you were making. Somebody had asked a question about the entire deal as a whole. Just put that anywhere. But no, they said you made a comment about. You remember when you were in the Senate that if you'd heard from somebody that if both sides are uncomfortable with an agreement, it's usually pretty good.
Yeah, there's generally, and what I was referring to was usually there's a big bill that would come up, not at the bar or the restaurant.
Sure.
Because we all know the lobbyists would pay for that.
That's right.
Right.
But just kidding. No, we'd have a piece of legislation, and it would a lot of compromises, amendments, and things added, taken to and from it, and then everybody's just a little uncomfortable with it. That was what I was referring to. That a lot of times that would work out to be a pretty good piece of legislation. So hopefully that's what we've got here. Everybody's a little uneasy, but I think it puts in writing some things that we need, and there's a lot of details in there. Financial accountability that gives them and us some reassurances of things. And I think too, when we put it in writing, a good lawyer one time told me good fences make good neighbors, and that's really what we're putting up here.
Yeah. So does this mark the start of I guess a new working relationship with you and the superintendent? Because that was part of the questioning yesterday as well, the Tim versus Jim question, and apparently some people have focused on that. I don't think we ever focused on that here.
No. I mean, it's just this is, he has a job to do and I have a job to do, and we're not going to take long walks in the afternoon together and
We're not going to see pictures of you guys on Instagram or Twitter
hanging out
just
in a
hanging
hot
out.
tub or something with our families. No.
Brand new sitcom on Wednesday nights, the Tim and Jim show.
No.
Oh well, you can always hope.
We did have
Always hope.
tacos though.
Well, that's good.
That's a first step.
That's a step.
Yeah,
That's a
it's a
step.
step.
Baby steps.
I mean,
Baby
it's
steps.
bigger than both of us.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is, and
Yeah.
being able to give teachers pay raises when they've been, they were told by Nashville a couple years ago they were going to get a pay raise, and then they pulled it back. And to me, that's inexcusable. That is inexcusable. So we're we're digging in a little bit to help things out there and get things, I think, where they need to be. And if the school system wants to give them more, they can do it out of their share. But for right now, this is where we're at. And hopefully it's something that hopefully folks will call their commissioners and say, and we're doing all this without a tax increase.
Yeah.
And there won't be a tax increase because of it.
Russ asking a question off the text box. So what's the status of the development at Powell Airport, and what is the county doing to help stimulate the growth in North Knoxville?
Powell Airport, well, that's a private enterprise. Mm-hmm. So hopefully the government's doing very little other than roads, infrastructure.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a Kroger.
Yeah, I think so. But I don't
So
know.
we don't have any interest in that. That's not our property. It's
Gotcha.
private property, and it's Powell International Airport.
Gotcha.
Actually, the new road at Emory Road addition that was just done. Some things there hopefully will bring more traffic into Powell and allow less hardship on the neighbors. So hopefully that's something that's being done.
Yeah.
But my philosophy about government and business is that anytime you see government get involved with business, you see trouble.
Sure.
I mean, except when you're a big box store or something like that, the lines get really blurred there. Because politicians will bend over backwards, to create a road or something for them, but the small business, they'll crush them to get to the big business.
Yeah.
And the reality is you've just replaced your high-paying jobs with $8 an hour greeters, basically.
Yeah. Let's see. Jason says, "Love Mayor Burchett. Very thankful for all he does in the community."
Thank you, Jason.
As far as the schools go, how is the bidding process going to work for the schools?
It'd be just like any other. We put out, and there's initials for it, I'm sure. What is it? RFP, request for proposals, and we within those parameters we work that out, and it's not always the cheapest one that we take, though, and there's some misconception there. We go with what's going to work best, but it's all open to the public, and it'll be done legally. Hugh Holt, he should get a lot of credit. Without Hugh Holt, I've said this before, there wouldn't be a new Carter, because he really got creative and worked within the law. Didn't come up to the edge on any laws, but he worked within the law and the parameters that are there. And and on this deal, I got to give all the credit to little Chris Caldwell and little Jenny Lingenfelter, and the artist formerly known as Big Sexy, because they really, really dug in and worked on this thing. And and I get all the credit, and people applaud me and pat me on the back, but the reality is they did all the work, and that's just the way it is.
Well, there you go. Well, congratulations, Chris and Michael and Jenny, who's not here with us today. But
where is little Jenny Lingenfelter?
She worked late yesterday, so she better be at home right now.
Okay. Wow.
At her house.
hey, there you go. But no,
she's not coming in today?
Well, no, just she didn't need to come in at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Let her.
All right, Big Sexy. Just
To be on the radio.
You worked late yesterday. I work late every day. Can I come in later tomorrow?
Sure.
By late we mean like 7 to 8, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. It was a pretty long day.
Yeah.
There you go. I feel for her.
And she's a youngster.
That's right. They need their time. They need a lot of sleep, those youngsters.
She's still got hipster to do.
Still got what?
Hipster.
What's that?
I don't know. It just sounded good.
22 minutes after the hour, we're talking with Mayor Burchett and the gang this morning. Chris Caldwell and Michael Greider in with us. We're going to take a moment.
I'm going to look that up.
We got some hipster to do. So while we do that, you go ahead and do this, checking the roadways.
Give me just a second here.
Checking the roadways this morning. Of course, Pete's out there taking a look at everything around. If you've got questions for the mayor, something you want to find out, you can go ahead and post on the text box. You can post over in the chat room. You can also give us a call, 865-243-TALK, 243-8255. When we get back, got a couple questions coming in about these new schools. And there's been a comment made about making sure that you guys use some of the latest technology and some money-saving options. We'll talk about some of those and see what we've got. We'll put Chris Caldwell to the test.
I wanna hold you. Got to hold you. Hey, baby. Got to hold you.
8:27.
Oh, please.
The question of the hour.
The mayor's singing. Be quiet.
Who tells
Let me be your
Al
man.
Green to shut up?
Nobody. Whoever that cat was probably found him in the Mississippi River.
I wanna hold your hand.
That's right.
Got to hold
The
your hand.
melodious,
Yeah.
the melodious stylings of one Knox County Mayor Tim Burchett. He is on with us this morning, along with Chris Caldwell and Michael Greider. They're all holding court here with us on The Rude Awakening, taking your questions, taking your comments, whatever you want to share with us. Text box open. The phone line's open, 865-243-TALK, 243-8255. Chat room open for you as well at knoxtalkradio.com. If there's something you would like to share, something you would like to ask, please feel free to contact us now. We'll share it with the.
Is that me? What the heck? Hold on. There you go. That was Leonard Skinner. I'm sorry. Tuesday's gone with the wind. Sorry, guys. Good gosh. I just hit Pandora right there on that little button on my phone. And
Trying to figure out why a train was coming through the studio there for a moment.
No problem at all with that.
I'm Isabel. She's messing with my phone again. She can do all kinds of crazy stuff with this thing. I still haven't.
That's good stuff.
Sorry, guys.
It's all right. No, that's fine.
fine.
That's fine. You're more than welcome to add whatever you want to the show. If you got sound effects of your own.
Hey, we
use
think
sound
that
effects.
the Powell Airport is technically in the city.
Okay.
So I think we need to ask that to Mayor Rogero.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how'd the president say it?
Rogero.
Rogera.
Rogero. It's one sound. Rogero. Now, the other part of his question was, is the county doing anything to help stimulate growth in North Knoxville?
Right. Well, hopefully we're staying out of your way. And hopefully the bureaucrats aren't tightening the noose. I know a lot of people get on to me about my vision thing, but, my vision thing is to run government and do the things that we're required to do. That's where we put money in things like the chamber and put close to $1 million in economic development this year. And they've done actually an excellent job. They brought some huge contracts, companies in. Fresenius, for instance, I keep talking about it, but it's a major healthcare company out of Salt Lake City, Utah. And I believe it's Salt Lake, I know they're Utah. They primarily deal with folks that are diabetics, and there's going to be hundreds of millions of dollars investment and excess of $140 million, 635 jobs. My crack staff just handed me that, so I just say it and it just appears.
Yeah, it's
but
amazing.
that's huge, and there's been several like that, and we've had some additions. Some folks have added on, and is it government's job to do all that? No, it's the private enterprise. It's our job to get out of the way.
Yeah.
And state of Tennessee, people, they inject money into businesses. I know in Memphis, Tennessee, they gave $300,000 to Electrolux.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, $300 million, excuse me, not 300,000. $300 million to Electrolux because they were threatening to leave. And that's a game you get into with these big corporations.
Yeah.
They're going to pull out, it still took us my wife and I 5 weeks to get an Electrolux stove. 5 freaking weeks. I about called the governor up personally and said, hey, That $300 million you got, what the heck? But and what do you get from those investments? I don't know. We talk about a lot of it's prestige, though, to say we brought this in here, and you have to be real careful. The state of Tennessee gets into a habit of pumping millions into these corporations, and the return is about nothing.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the Houston Oilers when we got them the Titans. It's millions and millions of dollars. I know Bud Adams, I think personally, he stuck over $20 million in his pocket at the end of that deal.
Yeah.
And we sell a little more beer, a little more gasoline, have some just barely above minimum wage jobs, and you get a bunch of pro athletes and politicians pat themselves on the back. The reality is, the Wall Street Journal did an article on sports teams and what they mean to communities, and they mean very little.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Volkswagen, huge investment, a lot of prestige. There's a lot of peripheral businesses that'll become of it, but at some point you have to step back and say, is our money being wisely invested in these things?
Sure.
And folks, and I have more philosophy is if you're running your government right, they'll come to you.
Sure.
And you can have your folks go out and recruit them, which is what the chamber's job to do. But I don't know if the taxpayers need to be subsidizing private businesses.
Yeah. Speaking of spending your money wisely, we're looking now at 2 new schools being built. We got Jack wants to weigh in, ask a question. The number 865-243-TALK, 243-8255. Jack, good morning. You're on with Mayor Burchett.
Hey, Mayor.
Hello, Jackson.
Mike, and Trey, and everybody else.
Hey, how you doing?
Terry. And I can't hear you.
All right. What's your question for the mayor?
Okay. Mayor, I saw the video yesterday when you all were doing the presentation to the press. I've seen people on death row happier than you are. What's with that?
Yeah, it's just a job, brother. I mean,
No, I can't hear you.
I said it's my job. I don't get too excited. The ink's not dried yet. I've been in politics 21 years, and it's a memorandum of understanding. Chairman Anders from the commission has to sign off on it, and Chairman McMillan from the school board has to sign off of it, and that's only after we get a majority of both sides. This was an agreement that McIntyre and myself agreed to, and so we have to, it's still not, it's just an agreement, something that we worked out that we think that both sides can live with. Now, whether they will or they won't, I don't know, but they'll get their opportunity to address it. And I'd hope they would. I think it's a good start, and I think it takes care of some major problems. The West Knoxville situation. Chairman Anders and I spoke about that many times, about the overcrowding, and we're going to have to do something eventually about that. Yeah. Dave Wright, commissioner from the 8th District, he's kept Gibbs at least in front of me about every time we've met, and so is Chairman McMillan. So, those are some things, and of course the pay raises, the bonuses.
Now I can hear you good.
Okay, the pay raises and the bonuses are.
Well, I'm for the pay raises. They deserve every penny they can get.
Yes, sir. But we can't break the bank either.
No, we can't.
But with this plan, I think we're moving forward in a good manner. We've done a good job of keeping your taxes low, and we're not raising your taxes with this proposal.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not criticizing. Believe me, I'm not. I like, you don't know me from Adam, but I keep up with what you're doing. Dr. McIntyre is doing what he probably thinks is right. And that's I don't know, but yesterday you seemed real reluctant to agree to this. So that was the point of the call.
Yes, sir. I'm not until we get. I'll crack a smile.
I'll tell you right now.
Yes, sir. Well, I'll crack a smile when the agreement's reached.
Well, thank you, Jack. We appreciate that phone call. Now, I don't know if this will be a question for you or a question for Finance Director Chris Caldwell, but one of the things mentioned was that Knox County Purchasing Department is going to be handling construction, Hugh Holt, construction of the facilities, and they're going to identify modern, cost-effective options for building the schools. When we hear that, what are we talking? What are some of the things we're
Then the
talking?
contract will be referred as Hugh Baby.
Hugh Baby. Gotcha.
That's right.
Gotcha. These modern, cost-effective options for building the schools. What are we talking about?
Well, I talked to Dr. McIntyre about it, and actually I've talked to folks at the Chamber. I've talked to engineers. I've talked to some construction specialists, and it's been pointed out. It was pointed out to me when I was in the legislature that we built them the same way we built them for the last 50 or 60 years, and there's new construction methods out there, and we need to explore every avenue. There's systems that say they're building schools cheaper. Well, I guess I could build them cheaper too if there was a lean-to, or if they were building them out of cardboard.
Yeah.
But the truth is, if we can keep the same standards, safety standards, things like that, and accessibility, and we can save the taxpayers some money, I think it's our time to shine in Knox County. It's something that the rest of the state could look at and say, hey, that's maybe something we need to start looking at too.
Yeah. Up in the big cities, they're like building gardens on top of the roofs and stuff. Apparently, it keeps the buildings cooler.
Yeah, I've done that. I've looked into that actually.
That.
I've actually got some stuff on my desk about that. We actually do that at the courthouse.
Really?
Yeah, the PBA has got some out there on that. I suggested planting bamboo. You got to put a rubber membrane down, and you have to, there's different things you can do. The membranes have like a 50 or 100 year guarantee not to leak and things like that. It's a pretty neat process. I would love to see us do that downtown, because you get a lot of heat. I ride motorcycles sometimes, and I can remember back in the day riding downtown at night, and you could just feel the heat just resonating off the buildings.
Yeah.
And that affects things. And if you were to put stuff on the roof, it would help to diffuse some of that.
Interesting. A lot of great stuff and it's a very exciting time too.
And if Frank Nicely's listening, you could even grow hemp.
This is true.
Not marijuana, but hemp.
Right.
This is true. We could do that. All kinds of options, but it's exciting time too, because you get to actually see how cost effectively a school can be built. And as you said, when you bid out the process, you're not necessarily looking for just the absolute cheapest one out there, but the one that best fits every need that you have, and is also the most cost effective at doing so as well, right?
Yeah, and I need to make a correction here. We did not get an Electrolux stove. There wasn't one available in the country. We had to get a different brand.
Man.
So there. And also, Hugh Holt sends me a message that I give him way too much credit. That's not true. He deserves every bit he gets. But he also followed up with a follow-up. He says we have a small green roof at the Forensic Center.
Well, there you go. See,
We're progressive.
we're talking with Knox County Mayor Tim Burchett this morning. Couple more questions coming in. Let's go back to the phones here. We'll say good morning to Bill. Good morning, Bill. You're on with the mayor.
Hey, good morning. How you guys doing this morning?
Good.
Good morning, Mayor.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, listen, we're just listening and watched that on TV yesterday, and it's everybody's for good education and all that, but I just wish people would realize that we're in some difficult times right now, and we're putting a pretty good strain on the budgets, and everybody needs to realize that. I mean, I've been a businessman, small business, for 48 years, and probably for about 40 of them I've been trying to get a raise and hadn't got one yet. But I just feel like that, you're stretching the dollars as much as you can, and I just appreciate the efforts that you're going to not put a burden on the taxpayers and still accomplish some of this. And I guess what I want to know is when you're going to come to Blount County and do seminars on this, so maybe our government can catch on. All we seem to do over here is spend money. We're fastly becoming the most expensive place to live, and that's not good for our economy in the future for attracting people. And I just wish we'd sit down and realize this. And sometimes we need to just bite the bullet and just say, guys, let's just maintain what we've got until we get through this, and then we'll see what happens. And I'd like to hear your comment on that, if you would, please. And have a good day. I enjoy listening to you.
Well, thank you. I've got a great staff. That's how I can do the things I do. I don't know how any of the other counties. I don't know their details. I don't know what problems they've inherited. I just know what we've got. We've got a great staff. I get a lot of accolades, but it's really the folks that are here with me, Chris Caldwell, and some of his finance folks that do all the heavy lifting, and I get all the credit. But you're very kind. But that's generally where I would leave it.
Talking this morning with Knox County Mayor Tim Burchett. Another phone call here. This one will go to Halls. We'll find out what Robert has this morning. Good morning, Robert. You're on with the mayor.
Always a pleasure and a privilege to speak with you, gentlemen.
It's ours, sir.
The new strip of road that has bypassed Powell, the new piece of Emory Road, how much of that, and I realize that there's a floodplain on one side of it that can't really be developed unless I'm mistaken, but is that all going to be commercial available?
I do not know. I suspect it will, because the floodplain, of course, won't. But the development will open up. I think the development will open up along both sides of the corridor.
Yeah, I mean, are we really not looking here at probably Lovell Road here before long becoming the new Cedar Bluff with all of the commercialism?
Possibly, but that's tax dollars. I mean, if people don't buy the products, they won't build the buildings. So, yeah.
Yes, sir, I understand. You were mentioning that the old Powell Airport was actually part of the city limits. So the county city line runs along Brown Gap and Rifle Range, and then somewhere it skews north and runs all the way up to the airport.
Yeah, it goes up 75. It's
And then Emory Road, it goes along the Emory Road corridor.
Yeah, it goes along the Emory Road corridor. There was some finger annexations back in the day, and they could have asked to be annexed. I don't know, but that's pretty much stopped. The legislature's pretty much stopped that. But yeah, it's all over the place. If you look at a map,
I didn't realize that it was that land was actually city. I would have thought it was county. Thanks a lot, guys. Y'all have a great morning.
All right.
Thank you, Robert. Yeah, it's kind of the way out where I live, out in Sevier County, how Smokies Park is in Sevierville. Somehow Sevierville shoots all the way up 66 along that corridor, grabs Smokies Park and pulls it back in.
Yeah, there'll be restrictions. There's restrictions involved. I guess there'll be designed restrictions and things like that. It's people say we need more business. It's interesting. You have the one caller say we need more business. The other one says, hey, we don't want it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things you're not going to please everybody.
No, not at all. But that's politics, right?
It's politics. And that's progress.
There you go. It's 8:45. Talking with Knox County Mayor Tim Burchett. We got a little bit of time left. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, though. Our last break of the day. When we get back, we'll find out what George has. We'll find out what Ricardo has. Find out what you have as well. The text box open for you. Also, the phone lines 865-243-TALK, 243-8255. Time today. We got talking with Knox County Mayor Tim Burchett this morning. We got a report of a wreck in Anderson County at exit 127, backed up 3.5 miles into Campbell County. Once again, we got a report of a wreck in Anderson County at exit 127. It's backing up about 3.5 miles into Campbell County. So please be careful as we have a report of a wreck, Anderson County, exit 127, backing up about 3.5 miles onto Campbell County. It's 75 South. Thank you. 75 South is where that wreck is located. Exit 127.
At Rocky Top exit.
We don't talk about that here.
Oh, sorry.
Somebody is very upset about the whole Rocky Top.
It'll always be Lake City to me.
I won't tell you who it is in this room. It's Terry. Billy asking, do you know if the county will be taking on debt with the new schools? Will this be the first new debt under the mayor? Question from Billy there.
I'm going to let casual Chris Caldwell, you're getting technical.
We always issue bonds every year, but we will continue to pay down debt, and by the time the mayor leaves office, we will have paid down the debt about 77 from 691 to I think 612, so 77 million from the time he took office.
77 million.
Wow.
Yeah, and so
Pretty good. You imagine, you think about that, I say this all the time, but counties our size across the country compared to going bankrupt, being taken over by the feds or their state governments. We're giving pay raises, we're building, and we are not raising taxes, and we're reducing debt all at once. We use natural growth, and it's what families do. When there's tough times, they tighten it up, and then when there's good times, they can they can do some things that they need to do. But as far as the ever expanding role of government, I just like to keep it as minimal as possible.
Yeah. And what's odd is a lot of people have been very happy with the fact that you've paid down debt and you've been fiscally conservative, and in your time as mayor, you've been able to do a lot without raising taxes and going after people in the wallet or the pocketbook. You would think everybody's happy with that, but unfortunately, last week I guess there was an article in Knoxville Mercury where you were actually referred to as short-sighted and attacked for being fiscally conservative.
Yeah.
And apparently, it was mentioned that apparently you think that a good administration is somebody that shows that they can pay debt down, and I guess that's a
consider the source. I mean, you got liberal-minded folks that think government needs to grow and it's womb to the tomb kind of thing, and I just don't buy that philosophy at all. I've seen it. It doesn't work anywhere, and folks are better off deciding what to do with their own money than government.
Yeah. So it's okay that somebody calls you a penny pincher. You'll wear that with pride.
I'll wear that with pride. I'll run for re-election on that every time. But unfortunately, I'm term limited. Joe Sullivan is funny. When we were at that thing, he walked by me at the county commission school board meeting, and I stuck my hand out to shake his hand, and he wouldn't even shake my hand. And I just thought, he's just a better person, and that's just too bad.
Yeah.
And you're probably the second person who's read his article.
Well, I have to. It's my job.
I know.
It's we got 7 minutes to go. Here we got a couple of phone calls to get to. Let's see. Ricardo, good morning. You're on with the mayor.
Man, I was having a Buenos Dias until you brought up Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That should have been something the people of Tennessee voted on in a referendum across the state. Hey, Mayor, when you're governor, can you make them change that back?
I thought you thought more of me, Ricardo, than name me governor.
I can't stand that. How are they going to take an entity like Rocky Top and name the city after it? From this point forward, I'm calling it Crappy Top. So, anyways, that's how I feel about Lake City. Take that, y'all. But, hey, guys, real quick, it's kind of sad news. You guys know the 5 and Dime on Chapman Highway is closed down?
Emery's, yep.
Yeah, Amber, that's sad, man. That's really sad. We got this construction going on in Kingston and Cumberland and stuff, and I was going to give a shout-out to 2 great businesses I've eaten at in the last week that are down there that could use a little bit of help. And that's Oscar's Pizza right there on the Strip, and then Nero Zeros. Yeah. And have you guys had Nero Zeros?
Yes, it's fantastic.
Man, the Italian beef and Nero's, take it from somebody who grew up in Chicago, it's Farilla vanilla. So, hey, go down and help those businesses out. Hey, you're doing a great job, Mayor. Keep it up. And Lake City, do the right thing. Change your name back. Adios.
Emery's actually didn't go out of business. They moved up to
Pigeon Forge, right?
Pigeon Forge.
The island?
Yeah, that's correct.
First time I ever met you, I met you there. You were doing one of your money grabs, you know.
Yeah.
And
Cash mobs.
Cash mobs.
Yeah.
And you all sent me out in the truck.
Your money grabs?
Money grabs.
I'm sorry.
We do those on Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
Cash mobs are on Friday.
Yeah, money grabs.
I'm so sorry.
That's
I
called
like that.
tax
That's
day.
fantastic. That's fantastic. Hey, we got about 5 minutes left to go. We'll finish up the call with George. Good morning, George. You're on with the mayor.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it a whole bunch. Hey, Mayor, big fan. You, the whole family, the whole crew, you're doing an awesome job. Forget about it.
Forget about it. That's my boy George Bovey, man. He's New York proud right there, buddy.
Hey, Mayor, I got a big question for you, though. I really want to focus on Michael because I noticed, and I've been following Michael. He's big, trending online. He's doing all the health stuff, pedaling the bicycle, the GoPro on the helmet, popping wheelies, Evil Knievel. He's up and down the street. I have one question. When are you going unicycle on us, Mike?
Where's that crickets?
Hey, he won't even get on the street, Steve. He's not even up to that, Bo.
One unicycle, you get double the exercise
true.
out of one wheel.
I can't shift the unicycle to get up those hills. I'd have to be all downhill, and then I'm not burning any calories.
And it's a fixie, man. You gotta keep going.
Is he little sexy now, or is he big sexy?
No, he's just plain sexy.
Just plain old sexy.
That's right.
Thank you.
I prefer almost there sexy.
That's my buddy George Bovey there. He wrote a book. It's out now, and it's a good book. You ought to get it. He's sold quite a few copies. I think he's been on y'all's show a couple times. But anyway, no, it's a pleasure to be your mayor. Well, George is a good friend, and he and Sparky are good friends to my Kelly and my Isabel, and they've been good friends for a long time.
Well, fantastic. As we said at the beginning, of course, the MOU in place between Mayor Burchett and Dr. Jim McIntyre, and now it goes to the hands of both the school board and the county commission. The fate lies with their hands right now, but these two gentlemen decide they want to go ahead and work together and try to make things better for the kids here in these communities and the teachers here in Knox County, and I think that's a fine thing. And I know I've said it before, Mayor, and I like to say it again. You know, I don't live here in Knox County. I work here in Knox County every day. I've been in radio for nearly 30 years now. I've dealt with politicians from all levels, all over the United States, and I hope the people in Knox County realize, you know, whether they like you, dislike you, agree with you, disagree with you, I hope they realize how lucky they are that they do have somebody there that is as open and as honest as you are, because for the norm, for most politicians I've ever come across, that is not the case. And for you to come on this show an hour at a time and make yourself open and available for people to laud you or lambaste you or complain or criticize or praise, it's a special thing, and I appreciate you for doing that.
Well, thank you for letting me do it. All the credit goes to my folks that I got that work with me day in and day out. I know when I come in there with an idea, they just throw their hands up in the air, and they've been great to work with, and frankly, McIntyre's folks have too. Mm-hmm. They've been real accommodating to us and my ideas, and you know, it's just been a good working relationship. Thank you.
Well, it's a good thing. And once again, it's Knox County Mayor Tim Burchett. You want to find him on the internet. You go to knoxcounty.org. knoxcounty.org.
And you can always follow me, Tim Burchett, TimBurchett, on Twitter.
And if they don't do that and just want to call you on the phone, what's the number?
215-2005.
215-2005. Pick the phone up and call. More than likely, the mayor will pick up the phone himself and say, what you got, what you need. It's Knox County Mayor Tim Burchett, Knox County Finance Director Chris Caldwell. Chris, quit talking so much next time. And Michael Greider as well, joining us as well, big sexy himself. Thank you very much to these fine gentlemen for joining us. For Trey, for Terry, this is Mike. Thank you for being part of the show today. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.